finishing up yoga, and we'll have to do food.
All right, here we are. Today we are chatting with filmmaker John Yost. Thank you for joining us today, John.
John?
Thank you for having me, guys. That's pretty cool. It's really neat new technology. So.
Yeah, we're I don't know, we're just jumping into the fray here as well. We had a chance to do this with Lucas McNally a couple of days ago, and
fun.
in terms of what we're doing right now with the release of Goodbye Promise, we just need something quicker. We need to be able to get some content online quicker, and so we're going to see if this can save us some time and also help us sort of share our efforts and what we're doing and share our story.
Sure, and yeah, Lucas was telling me about trying to kind of come up with like a town meeting type of auction, type of telethon feel, and he was talking about this, and I didn't even know it kind of existed, and he was telling me more about it, and I was like, that's really, really dope, and you guys are taking time off from your thing to help him out as well, which is really good, or Jack as well, not just Lucas, but Jack as well. How is that going? How are you enjoying this kind of quick and right to the point, connecting the audience type of stuff, or is it? Are you finding it's clunky, or what's working or not? Right? Why am I shouldn't ask you a question. I'm sorry, I won't ask.
No, this is wide open conversation. Obviously, we've done something really ambitious with the release of Goodbye Promise, and we're trying to be as open and as transparent with the process as we can, so that all independent artists can learn from just bypassing traditional means and going right to the audience. And so this is great for us to take an opportunity to speak with various people that we respect, get a chance to have open conversations, get some feedback, some input from you guys, and just sort of move this whole story along. So yeah, we're totally open. We're not, this isn't us running the show. This is cool. Just down and talking about this whole adventure of ours.
I saw the thing with Gregory. I watched enjoyed that quite a bit. I like his take on things. Usually is very just do it, don't I like that attitude. But it was cool. It was just it was instant. You guys were right there just talking. Because I know he's Idaho and you guys are LA and I'm New York, so it's kind of cool that we can all just like Lucas's what do you call it, the Year Without Rent, it's kind of all getting smaller, which is pretty dope. It's pretty nice that we're all kind of getting closer and working together, even though we live on either side of the world or the country. So it's pretty neat.
I was thinking about that today because I had to go walk somewhere to the store just really quickly, and I was like, it's so weird to think that even though where we live is such a small sort of town feel in LA, and it's actually sort of a time warp in some sense. But that we can just be behind our computers and make like a ripple out there in the world, and it's like the most surreal thing. To me, it's fascinating how just at home behind our computers with our pets around us and whatever the TV on or whatever it is, we just kind of make this ripple, and then people in upstate New York can see it, and people in Idaho, and then someone in wherever, New Zealand can see it. So it's fascinating. It's actually terrifying too, a little bit.
Yeah, right. Like everything you say can be seen by anyone. I was clicking the terms of whatever security for the thing. It's like, just so you know that anyone can see this. It's like, all right, sounds good to me. I mean,
sure.
Yeah, it's good and bad. I mean, I think this technology is slowly being used in productive ways instead of just someone vapidly talking to each other about what they ate or something like that. I mean, at least you're to have that no matter what. But I think it's nice to see people who are driven using it for something of purpose. I think. Does that make sense? So.
Yeah, and just as a heads up, John, I just want to point it out. There's some sort of audio. I don't know if it's the headphones, but there's some sort of audio kick. I don't know if it's when you move or if it's the headphones. I can't tell if it's the headphones or not. But we're getting.
Let me try that real quick. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Is that better?
What do you think? Yeah.
You still hear it.
It's like a.
It sounds like there's traffic in the background or something.
I think it's better now, though, John. Yeah, let's try it without the headphones.
Or maybe there's a yoga instructor in the background doing yoga. Come here, you. Want to say hi? No, she doesn't want to say hi.
I didn't know you were.
I'm on camera. Yeah. No. No, nothing happened. He says hi. She's all sweaty, she says. It's all sweaty. All right. Are we good? Is that better?
Yeah, I think that's better. I think
Okay,
that's
cool.
better. So let's, sometimes it's helpful, to sort of dig into the stories of others, and then that gives us sort of an avenue to reveal more about what we're doing. So take us to where you are right now, John. Are you? It sounds like you're getting ready to launch your own Kickstarter campaign. Do we have that right?
Close, yeah. I mean, we did, and then so I've been writing this film for a while, for about a year, and then we shot a short film version of like some of what's happening, kind of like a bit of a mythos or kind of like a backstory to the feature, and that went really well. And we finished it up, and there was a art exhibit and all these kind of facets of the story that we put out there, and then we started a Kickstarter about 11 days ago, and in that 11 days, from the beginning of that till about 2 days ago, things changed drastically with the film, in the sense that it was clear that it was a film that needed to be shot over about 25 to 30 days in about 5 different shoots over the course of the entire year, instead of an 18 to 20 in September. We were going to shoot September 15th, I think, was the first shooting day. And it became very clear that that was not a healthy way to make the film. It's not what the film needed. And I made the executive decision, as being the director, obviously, and talked to all the other folks, and they said, let's do it how we know it'll be done the best. For $25,000, how can we make a post-apocalyptic film from another universe for that little bit of money? We got to do it like in stages, and really work at each 5 to 6 day shoot. And also, if we're going to do that, then, well, why not use the season? So we made that decision, and we looked at our Kickstarter campaign and said, well, this doesn't fit anymore. So I canceled it, and I restarted it. And hopefully the folks who were already part of it will be part of it again. And we lowered the amount because we have hopefully some investment, and then we have the Kickstarter itself. And with that, we can fund the first 3/4 of the shooting, and then go back and say, here's what we've done, here's what we have, check it out, help us again, and also get more people involved. Because this is the first one I had run, Kickstarter-wise, and it was very interesting how everyone was really supportive and all that stuff, and all of a sudden I went from like 900 friends on Facebook to 1,000, like overnight. It was like, and then new people were coming along, and I'm meeting new people, and it's really exciting. So I kind of want to keep that going all year long, and I don't want to just take a chunk and leave. I've already made the mistake and disappear for 2 years and make a film. And I'm just finishing it now, the last one from 2 years ago, and people are like, well, where's that movie? So it was kind of a necessity for the film, for the campaign, but also really kind of exciting to then, hopefully we'll be doing this for a long time. We'll be talking to our audience. And I started getting excited that this could be the reality for me as a filmmaker, is that every film I make over the course of the year, and I involve people over the course of that, shooting it, and then you make it even further, and you're always kind of involved. It's new for me. I guess maybe that's why it's incredibly exciting. I don't know if other folks watching are like not so new for us, but it's really neat. It's really enjoyable to be doing something, like the short film, and then getting a reaction out of it and people responding to it. So that's what we did. So right now we relaunched it 3 hours ago. We're already at 20%, so hey.
Wow. Oh, wow.
So, I mean, it's not a huge goal, but yeah, we're trying our best. So,
John, I'm wondering, when you first launched it, what were the initial things you were doing to get it beyond family and friends? You said you had 900 friends on Facebook, and then it grew, so what was your strategy to get it beyond that point?
That was just persistence, and actually it's funny because that portion hadn't started yet. So for the first kind of 5 or so days, we were still kind of in that Facebook and Twitter and local network of friends and family, and all that stuff was being put in place, and like press releases were going out, talking to you folks, like other people about, hey, we should talk about our films, and so that was starting to get going, and then this thing happened with the film, the content itself. So hopefully it's kind of a seamless thing that people aren't too jarred, because it looks exactly the same, but it's for a different amount. And then all that hard work and getting out to an audience beyond just my friends and family and things like that are going to kick in and just kind of go from there. I mean, we'll see. I try my best, but so that I guess I don't, other than the strategies of thinking about the film has a Shape Note or Sacred Heart singers in it. I've been talking to that community. The film has a lot about John Serial technology, so I'm talking to that community. Post-apocalyptic, a little bit, sci-fi, talking to that community. And music is a very big, important part. So talking to that community, and that, again, those are kind of all been started and continue to keep moving. But where it will go, I hope I get to talk to even more folks. So.
Are you of the school of thought that don't reach out to mainstream? Because David and I debate this all the time, and I'm a little premature. I like to do things right away and just let's get the ball moving. And David likes to kind of wait, and feels people should wait until there's more momentum behind their campaign. Is that your feeling too?
I mean, yeah, that's a good question, because like before, no, when I first started making films, I just would, yay, how are you, and create momentum that I would think would just go through, and it would hit a brick wall, and then slowly learning like I could be Animal from Muppets. It's just, wow, let's do it, let's get excited and get in that direction, and then but if I want to get something done from that energy, then I have to be like, oh, just be a little bit more, I guess, not calculating, because that sounds terrible, but or just a plan. Just be like, okay, you know what, I'm not going to take it there right now, because that's not something that they're going to be interested in, and we'll have no connection to it. But later, when I get to a certain point, and a certain actor maybe comes on board, then this other person in that other group will be more engaged. Then I'll go to them then. But I mean, I think it's tough. I think it's the fine line between, because I do this because I have fun, because it's enjoyable, because it's awesome, because it's like the thing from that Almost Famous movie where they leak Billy Crudup's character is like, didn't we do this to like not be responsible? Like, this is rock and roll. This is like filmmaking's rock and roll, but it's also like, when you don't have a manager in Capitol Records, and you're playing dive bars, you got to have a plan too. So it's a tough fine line, I think. I mean, but I do, yes, a long way around. Yes, I do think about that. Didn't used to, but I do now for sure. So.
John, can you help us understand the numbers of the the difference between the two campaigns? Can you sort of highlight the initial funding goal and how many days? You said, I think it was 11 days. You said how close you came to, like, I mean, how much money did you actually raise? And then now with the new campaign, how much money are you going for?
Sure.
And I guess you're only 3 hours in, so it's hard to say whether new people have jumped on board yet. But can you just compare and contrast the two campaigns, the totals?
Sure. Yeah. We were, and Lucas was giving me a hand with the campaign, and we looked at my network and other networks, and we're like, looked at the budget too. It wasn't just about that, and we said 28,000 is what we could do it for, and that is the budget. That's, I mean, fees taken away and perks taken away. That's the budget right there. It's about 24. And it's like one of those things, like, the last few, it's like, yeah, I could do it for 24, but if I really had to, like, not pay anybody, I could do it for 14. But I got to a point where it's like, I don't want to do that anymore. Like, I want to do it. I want to pay everyone properly. I don't want to skimp so much anymore. I want to do things the right way. So it's like, no, that's what it has to be. And then when the film changed, it became very clear that it can be done. It actually ends up saving money, because we're not getting everyone in one space for 20 days. And like, I did the math, and all of a sudden, it was translating to about $1,200 a day for shooting, and it's down to like $900. And so it's like, by breaking that up, it made more sense for and also because I rely on people that day jobs, people that are not in the like DPs in the industry and actors are in the industry, but they also have things they have to do. And so as soon as that was decided on, we said, all right, well, realistically, how much is that first half or 2/3 of shooting and getting us to a point? How much is that do we need? And we came up with $8,500. because of how we're breaking it down, we save, I think, almost $4,000, and because it's only halfway through, then it's about 12, and it's about 850 or 8,500. So we put that down, and we had already raised about 4.5. So that hopefully will come back to us because it's a lot of good friends and family and patron saints. As you guys probably know, you have your patron saints of the family or friends that have helped you out, and hopefully they all come back, and then that'll put us at about 40%, and then it's really just, then it has, I think, legs, and me and Lucas were talking, sometimes it's just that last place politician doesn't get looked at as someone who you'd even vote for, but then if you're at 40%, someone's got a shot. I mean, again, when you were talking about, Karen, it's like, you have to think about this stuff. I don't like thinking about this stuff because I like making movies, and I like I move money. I just hate money, but I realize it's a part of what we have to do. And the most exciting, I guess, aspect, like I said, is reaching an audience and talking to people. That was really cool. But yeah, sometimes it's just like, oh, I have to think in percentages, and I have to think, well, all right, well, 40% right now is better than 11% because then that gives, so if I want to fund this and I want to make this film, I kind of have to, it can't be a point of pride. It has to be a point of, do I want to make this movie or not? And so I was like, let's scrap it. Let's confess our mistakes and where we're headed with it, and let's redo it. I don't know if that works for a lot of people or how that ends up translating. I mean, I think that in our industry especially, there's a little bit of this kind of like, perfect example is a budget. People don't want to say, well, yeah, I made it for $10,000. And, I've run into people who are like, well, how much was the budget really? They're like, oh, $10,000. I was like, how much did you put on IMDb? They're like, $1.5 million. And it's just like, I mean, I understand the need for that, but at the same time, it's like, we can just be honest with one another. I guess. It's in my perfect society, in the perfect world, that would actually happen. But I don't know. That long story short, I guess. Sorry. You get me wound up when I start talking.
Can you speak a little bit more on this decision to scrap a Kickstarter campaign in the middle of it? Because that's something that Karen and I, we haven't heard of that sort of thing happening that often, where someone's going to sort of scrap one campaign. It takes so much effort just to get that ball rolling, And so here you are. I mean, how much time? I mean, did days go by? I mean, was this something that was weighing on you for days, or was it just a matter of just a couple hours in one day? Can you talk a little bit more about it?
Yeah, I mean, on Friday, I think we made the decision to change the structure of the filmmaking, and so then it was like, all right, well, let's look at then the fundraising then. So we changed this. Let's look at that, and I mean, frankly, I like working hard, and I like having a certain amount of pressure, but the pressure was weighing on me to the point, like, the all-or-nothing thing kind of got to me. I mean, I still like the all-or-nothing thing because I understand how it motivates people to pledge and things like that, but it was getting, I was having panic attacks, to be quite honest with you. I found myself driving to work and just bursting into tears. I don't know. It's the weirdest thing. Like, I'm not like that. I'm not normally a sad dude, but just because I want to do this film so bad, and then all of a sudden, like, I was just like, what did I do? I put, the film has just changed, and then I put everything in this one basket, and then I realized I don't even need the whole basket, and then I was just like, all right, so what do I need to do? And so, so Friday and then today, so that's what, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 4 days, we switched over. And they approved it, and I canceled the other one and contacted all our backers and said, this is going to make us, this is going to make a better film in the long run. I mean, we're definitely going to have to fundraise next June in order to finish. We can get, if we clear our goal and some of the other funding that I have put together, we can shoot the first 3 installments out of 4. So that's, I kind of just, I guess I took a gamble. I was like, I'd rather get that done and get that done properly, and then like come to people and be like, here, I have some of this film I filmed, and because we got a good response from the short film, and it was just like, what do you think now? Can you help us out with a little bit more? And so that was the decision or the idea of like, all right, let's do that. And yeah, Lucas hadn't heard of that either. He was just like, well, I guess I imagine people have done that before. And I've talked to people before too, and people have said like, well, what do you do? Do you say, I didn't get the amount that I wanted? Do you carry it all the way through, and then the Kickstarter doesn't go through, and then just say, like, you know, or do you adapt halfway through, or like, and I guess there was a little bit in the back of my head that I was doing something wrong in our community. Like I was like people, like, you know, the imaginary person like right here being like, that's wrong, you're doing it wrong. No one does it like that. It's like, all right, shut up. Yeah. So I was like, no, I think that it felt right. Like since then, no panic attacks, no crying, excited, back to normal, back to me, the way I make films. And so maybe that's just more of like trying to figure out how it works for you personally. I don't know. Like I don't. Again, like you guys have probably talked with a lot of folks about campaigns and stuff like that. I've had, you know, the pleasure of talking with Gregory about a few things, and Zach Forsman about a few things, and Lucas obviously about a few things, and I've done the. I think I first met you guys at a talk you guys were having about some of that stuff, the campaign stuff. So it's, you know, I think there is a little bit of, in my opinion, a one size fits all, not from you guys, but from like you go to out in the internet and you'll see that. And then you get down to the reality and you start talking to folks like you and Lucas, and it's like, no, we can do this however we want. So, I mean, you know, I think it'll evolve too, in some ways. I think Kickstarter will eventually evolve into something else good, hopefully, is equally as good, but that's right. Sorry, you wind me up, guys. And I get talking. So, was that good or?
That's great. I guess I'll jump in here.
Sure, yeah.
You know, first off, I think it's really clever that you're sort of taking this large goal, which is really massive and really weighing on you. I think it's great that, you know, even though it's probably a hard decision to make, I think it's great to sort of break it down, take the pressure off you, put you in a position to actually do the work. You know what I mean? Like that's sometimes like can just be the toughest thing, is just getting into the work. So I think you're empowering yourself. I think you'll be able to show results, you know, of the journey. And the thing I love that you're doing, I love the fact that you're communicating, you're being clear about like, this is what we did, like this is what's wrong with it. Now this is what we're trying to do, and you're being upfront. You're saying, you know what? We're going to raise money, but this isn't going to be the full amount. We're going to have to come back and do this again. But at least when we come back the next time, we're going to have something to show for it. So I really like that plan of attack.
Cool, thanks, man. And I think deep down we all just want to make the film. I mean, I do know people who just want to say they're making the film, but I think everyone here on this phone call has worked really hard to make that film. We'll always work really hard to make that film. It's quite apparent watching some of your film already that it's just like you guys are like just as in the trenches with everyone else trying to make a movie and do it, but you're not talk, you will do it. But you do meet some people like, oh, I'm just going to make a film. I'm going to make a film. But then there's people like us and Lucas and some other folks that just go and make them. And so then it comes down to it's like you put enough barrier, you know, you put a barrier in my way, and then it's a problem. Like art making to me is just is problem solving. It's just making choices. It's all art is, and it's exciting as hell. So. I just kind of, at first I kind of came up against it like, oh, you know, and then I was just like, this is just another problem to solve, and what's going to get the film made? Let's do this now. Like, so, but, I mean, I like to think that anyone out there listening and you guys would have done the same thing. Because you want to make the movie, man. You want to get it done. You got to get it in the can. So, we should talk about I'm kind of pumped. I mean, talking about, kickstarting and stuff like that. I'm really pumped that you guys are basically not kickstarting, but like it's like a pre-sales mixed with like a crowdfunding of a release, and that's really dope, man. I really like that a lot because yeah, I don't know. I want to hear more about that, actually. Sorry if I switched rails on you real quick, but I'm excited about that, man.
We'll talk about it.
How's that
I
going?
think Karen has something she wants to jump in with.
Oh yeah, just real quick, John. Did you keep the incentives the same? The first campaign you launched, did you change it up at all? Did you?
I did, because people were really responding to them, and I quite liked them. There's like video journals for complete. We already have $1,000 backers, so that we're going to shoot a 2-minute because that basically they made that day, so we'll shoot a 2-minute film of that day happening, and shooting with John. They can come on Shooting with John, which is my show on Filmmaker magazine, and then those are some of the big ones. But even the smaller ones, I've been doing an Instagram thank you, like on the spot, like wherever I'm at, just putting a thank you card up in front and taking a picture of me or whoever. This weekend, my friend was up from New York, and he's in a bunch, and just being like a really cool connection through Instagram and through network and the movies and films and stuff like that. So I was pretty happy with it. I haven't heard any complaints about it, but I do have a few 2 or 3 kind of fun ones that I'm gonna kind of release 2 weeks a week towards the end. Kind of like there's a main character's a girl and a kitten in the film, and there's a website. I don't know if you're seeing Kitties and Titties. It's like one of my favorite websites in the world. I'm being a little cheeky, but it's a good website. Not gonna do that. I'm just gonna say 4x5 postcards of Kate with the kitten, because I mean that's just awesome, so little things like that. I just gave it away, but so I have little things like that. But
Nice.
yeah, I did keep the same incentives. So
Interesting.
hopefully people like them. I mean, if you don't, please tell me. Let me know.
I like it. I like it. So you've been able to take a look at our efforts with the campaign. What runs through your mind? What questions do you have?
I think the only the only question is, does it? I guess my question, because I don't know Indiegogo very well, is it a time thing? Because I think it says 30-some days, or did you set that, or is that can you just set up an open-ended amount of time and just use it as a pre-sale engine / crowdfunding, or do you have to be no, is it like Kickstarter, 30 days, or that's it?
Yeah, I think with Indiegogo, I mean, this is something where we felt like it had to be 30 days. We just felt like.
No, I wanted it longer. Just wanted it 30 days.
I felt like I wanted the 30 days. Karen wanted it longer.
Sorry.
75.
Just I guess just over time, I just feel like if your message is going to get out, the internet moves so fast that if you have something, you don't need to draw it out, and Karen and I, in addition to Film Courage, in addition to everything else we're trying to do, we still have day jobs, so we're trying to do all this. We're still trying to, have an income coming in or whatever. So, so it's hard to say let's do this let's draw this out for 60 days. It's really not conducive to our lives. So 30 is really just us pushing ourselves to the limit.
Yeah.
I think with Indiegogo, I think the limit's 120. I think with Kickstarter the limit's 19. I'm sorry, 90. I think 90 days on Kickstarter. I think 120 on Indiegogo. I'm not totally certain. I can't verify that. I just have a feeling that's what the numbers might be. But I think you get away with at least 90 days though. I think. So yeah.
I mean, so once that 30 days is up, what are you going? I mean, because I'm looking at what you guys are doing so far. You're getting a good response, so you'll have a certain amount. Are you going obviously going to continue to sell it, or is that like a kickstart to distribution, or does that kind of? I guess that's my question. Is what do you do once the 30 days are over? And obviously you're going to still sell your movie, or are you going to look at festivals? This is kind of a preview for folks, or?
Yeah, it's interesting because this sort of launch, as far as we know, and it's been confirmed by Adam Chapnick over at Indiegogo, where no one has really taken this initiative to do this before. So this is new territory. We're not necessarily committed to one thing or another. I mean, we're hoping to do well enough with the release so that we can have some money in place for maybe a limited run on DVDs. You know, and eventually we'd like to get the film on other platforms. But certainly the plan is at the end of 30 days, then we take the film down offline. So we're giving people this limited window that we've created through Indiegogo, and this is sort of our first window of release. And we've decided to bypass film festivals. We've decided to bypass distributors, and with film festivals and that sort of thing, it's hard to say whether they're going to want to screen our film or not. You know, typically they want the world premiere of your film. We're going right to the people. People all over the world are seeing the film. We're creating our own buzz. It's hard to say. I can offer one interesting tidbit right now that I don't think we've shared yet. Is after we did have a 1 week run in Los Angeles at the Downtown Independent.
Yeah, Lucas said something about that. Or you actually, I think you were telling me about it like briefly, or Marty or one of those guys was like, yeah, they're gonna have like a week run and then they're gonna try something really cool, and I didn't know what it was until. I think they knew the secrets ahead of time. So
yeah, it's like a Steve Jobs kind of thing. Yeah, we don't.
Yeah.
No, but we were never expecting the LA Times review. You know, that really.
Oh, cool.
You know, that really floored us to get basically a near perfect review in the LA Times. And what's funny is we've gotten several other reviews since the LA Times, and none of them have been, you know, quite the glowing review that we got in the LA Times. So we've gotten sort of like subpar reviews on other platforms that are smaller, that, you know, that don't have the viewership. But it's great that the film really connected with who we really needed it to. But because of the LA Times, we decided, like, hey, you know what? Maybe there's more of an audience for this film. Maybe we should really try to look at New York and see if we can get a theater there to run it, and then maybe we get a chance at the New York Times, the New Yorker, and all the New York media. And so we tried for about a month and a half, or until mid-July. We tried that whole time to see if we can get New York and Austin and San Francisco and Seattle, and Karen and Gregor they were on the phone, they were on the email, just hitting everybody up trying to get one of these theaters to offer us a deal. We weren't able to make that happen. But since the release of the online, or since our online release, Gregor contacted one of the theaters in New York, and now they've taken a look at the film, and now they're interested in screening it. So,
which one is it? Which one? Or maybe you can't say.
Yeah.
No, you don't have to say. You don't have to say. I was gonna say it's too bad that the rerun, I think, is pretty much gone or is on its way out.
Yeah.
Rerun was pretty cool. My main actor Frank Mosley showed his movie Hold there. Really dope spot, and it's curated by the guy who actually is starting I believe a video store in Brooklyn, or took one all over that was kind of failing. So there's some like that. You don't have to tell me now, but actually when we're done here, email me, because I might have one that you can go to too. I might know one that you guys could totally screen out for a week in Brooklyn and get definitely gives you the review. So, but
that'd be great.
We'll put that into the mix. But that we were in contact with the rerun. We were about Aaron Hillis, and it did fall through. So we were very close to making it happen, and that's where we continue to hold out hope. But that particular one fell through for us. So
because I think they're done, right? I mean, I think they're finished. Not finished like in a bad way, but I think they closed the theater down or something like that. Am I wrong? I could be wrong, but
hey,
I'm not sure.
We're out here in LA, but we're as far we don't.
New York. New York's close-ish. I mean, like I'm going to see Samsara on Friday with Ron Frick in attendance, Q&A. That's probably like the coolness of New York being by. That's pretty much, to me, that's the level of awesomeness of having New York nearby.
Nice.
To go see that.
Nice.
You guys are in LA, man. I love LA.
Real quick, John, I'm wondering what do you think we could do to help push Jack Marchetti's campaign along? You know, we're racking our brains.
Yeah, I'm racking my brain. I don't understand it, man. Like, he's going blind. He's going blind. I was like, I was telling my wife, just joking around, I was like, I should tell him he's going slightly retarded over time because I'm drinking too much or something like. I mean, like, he is going blind. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know, man. What do you guys think? Because I think it's a great story. I mean, the only thing I can think in my head that people are like, oh, is that it's a noir film. Now, I mean, a lot of people either don't know what that is, or they don't think it's done correctly, or I told Lucas maybe seeing the script, because that's one thing. Like I'm gonna get. I was planning on giving anyways, and I'm gonna talk to Lucas later. And I'm gonna give while we're doing it right then and there. But I would, being someone who was doesn't know him at all, maybe just seeing the script. I mean, like putting those leaves around it, and or what do they call those when you're getting to a festival, or like basically putting an award on it. The Project Greenlight. I mean, it means something to some people, but I don't know anything about those scripts. The only movie I've ever seen that came out of Project Greenlight was that movie Feast, and that thing was insane. It was just, what I'm talking about, the animals, the creatures that had sex with everyone. It was the weirdest movie I've ever seen in my life. And so that's all I've seen. So, like, I mean, I'm kind of dying to see the script. I mean, I'll give because, Lucas is a friend, and this kid's going blind, and he seems to really care. But maybe for some folks, that might help them. Like a script reading, or even, I don't know. Like, I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, maybe I'm off the mark.
I think the script is available on the Kickstarter page. I mean, we haven't read the script. We're just so compelled by the story itself that, literally, like we've stopped pushing our own campaign, which is, it's at our campaign is probably as ambitious as ever as any campaign ever, and we decided to just put that on hold because we care so much about this story that we're pushing this thing all the way through Friday to see if we can get him to his goal, and then we'll go back and work on our campaign. So, yeah, so we're just hustling as much as we can behind the scenes. We're engaging as many people as possible. I mean, Karen sent out probably like 1,000 emails by now to all kinds of people that we're connected to and other media organizations. So, we're doing quite a bit.
Yeah, and we're trying to take the eyesight angle, not just the filmmaking angle.
Okay.
And so we reached out to a few. It was like the National Federation for the Blind and things like that. Not asking them for money, but just maybe they could share it with their audience. But that was just today, so we haven't heard anything back. But
yeah,
just trying different angles,
Yeah.
What do you guys? I mean, so like quickly going back to yours and my so I think this is something quite new. I mean, like I keep saying pre-sales, so obviously like I'm bringing it to something that has been done before, but it's not really like that. And then you guys are trying something new with that kind of platform. And this maybe just be beyond what you guys are doing and Four of a Kind, but what do you guys think is the future of this? Is this sorry, excuse me, I got distracted. My wife in the shower and is just, she's angry at me. Yeah, just close it here. Here, go around and close the door. I'll close the door. Hold on a second. Yeah, no, it's pocket doors, man. But yeah, I made the mistake of setting up right in the middle of everything. Anyways, yeah, she doesn't want. But like, what do you think is the future of it? I mean, like, is it just going to be we're all going to keep trying to push it in a general direction, or I mean, I guess your thoughts. I'm interested in hearing from you guys because you guys are so kind of entrenched with it, and you're talking to a lot of people, and you're kind of in the thick of it. What is the feeling of where it's headed? What is the feeling of where it's at? And is us having to bust our butt to get a guy who's going blind and make a movie like a sign of something? Like what's going on? I guess is my question. So maybe I'm putting you on the spot. I hope I'm not, but
yeah, go for it.
I think sort of the idea of what we're doing is what more and more independent filmmakers need to do. As we looked at sort of the distribution options that we had in front of us for our film, to be honest, the options are really, really limited. A lot of the options, they don't really contain the punch that we really need from the options. Like if you go direct to film festivals, it's like it's so difficult, it's so challenging to actually hit at one of the large film festivals. Like you need to get into one of the big film festivals.
I was rolling my eyes earlier talking about like that world premiere requirement. It's like it's a festival of film. It shouldn't really have a requirement. If it's not, So if you're not about money and you're about films, then that's bullshit, in my opinion. Then you should be like, this is a great film. Oh, it premiered somewhere? Well, we can't show it. It's just, it's. I think it's BS. But that's, anyways, continue. Yeah, I'm agreeing, yes.
Yeah, no, it's just, there's just so many, our main thing is just, there's just so much uncertainty there. With certainly there's a lot of advantages. There's a lot of there's so much you can gain from the experience of it all. But starting off on that quest, nothing's really guaranteed. There's the argument you hear the most is that this is a way to find the audience, and the way I look at it is there's like an unlimited audience online that's just waiting for content, and so I get just by going any other route, it's like you're taking this scarce path forward. You're only allowing this small group of people to see it or have exposure to it, and you're not. We wanted to just get rid of that. We just wanted to try to see if we can just create a little small snowball and sort of just push it forward and see how much momentum we can gain. And that's sort of the beauty with what YouTubers are doing. They're putting content, they're making it available, they're not hiding the work. You know what I mean? Like sometimes filmmakers, you've put so much time and energy into the work, and you're hoping to be discovered. You're hoping that this film festival takes it. You're hoping that this distributor finds it. It's kind of like you're waiting for a miracle. It's always just been a challenge, because then on the other front, there's all the places where maybe you could get the exposure, Netflix and Hulu and all that stuff. That stuff's not guaranteed either, So it's hard to get onto those platforms for smaller films, and so we're kind of stuck, So when we're looking at our options, we're like, what can we do to just make it simple and easy to get it in front of our audience so that they can access it really easily, and then if they do like it, they have the ability to share it,
Right.
So
Being proactive, basically. You guys just took a proactive approach and just said, let's just do it, let's get it done, as opposed to. And I think that that's kind of the coolest thing about it. To me, that's the coolest thing about it, is that I don't have to wait for anyone anymore. I can just be proactive. I don't know if you guys have had that experience, but it's almost like. You realize you're like, oh well, my life in America is okay, and then you see something like Pussy Riot being imprisoned for basically questioning the Kremlin and all that stuff like that, and they're put in jail for 2 years. And you're like, that doesn't really happen here. That's pretty awesome that doesn't happen here. And then so it's like the kind of thing with the independent film. You're like, you look back in like 90s and 80s, like you couldn't make a film and just put it on the internet. And then I think sometimes cynics and cynicism takes over, and we forget that. I think that we forget how awesome it is just to even be able to do that. I think we're still, in my opinion, we're still in the arm flailing bit part of it. Not. I mean, collectively, we, like the whole group, like the whole thing. I think it's so new. I mean, I remember a time when there wasn't internet. I was in high school. So that's not too long ago. So like we're new to this whole thing, and but I think that kind of positive, like proactive approach is much better than people sitting back and being like, nah, well, it's not working, or it's not doing what I thought it would. It's just can't get on board with that. But sorry, I just made it about me, and I didn't mean to.
No, I think it's funny that about the internet. I was just telling Dave that today. It was just funny just to see. Just to kind of be in the same town you were in, for me, where there was no internet at that time and things were just much different, and then now just be in that same town and the same buildings are all there, but this world has completely changed, and now so much is in the power of our own hands, and like I said, it's almost scary because you can make this ripple across the world by the click of your mouse, and it's exhilarating and it's terrifying at the same time. So
yeah. We might all look back one day and be like, well, first we'll be like, whoa, what were we doing? But at the same time, we'll also be like, we were doing it. We were trying something new, and it'll come along and it'll go through several different things. But we may look back at this time like an '80s haircut and be like, shoo.
Right. What was that flock of seagulls thing on my head?
Yeah. So. But at least we got the haircut, at least we tried it, and I think that's what's exciting about. That was actually I think the least favorite thing of mine, doing kind of what you guys are doing, like reaching out and having kind of a place like a site and kind of just putting your voice out there is when you do that. Like on Filmmaker Magazine, you get really, really negative people that are just kind of like, really, man. I mean, like, we're not saving lives here, so like, just chill out. Like, we're all trying something new, and people take it so incredibly. I mean, I take filmmaking seriously, but not to the point where, I don't know, it ruins your day or something like that. I guess it's just like you just have to be like. Be positive. I guess that's. I don't know if that sounds incredibly corny, man, but like that's like I said, rock and roll, and I'm doing this for fun. So I'm gonna be responsible, but I'm doing it for fun, So.
Well, I was just watching this interview with John Sayles and Maggie Renzi, and they were talking about. John Sayles was saying something like, when things change, you have to either sort of change with them or draw that line in the sand and say, nope, this is where I'm not moving. And there's people that don't even use email to this day. Because it's like, no, I don't go there. But, I think anytime there's this new wave of whatever it is, I was just reading something about how when talkie films came out, that like a lot of actors were very hesitant about doing them because they didn't like their voice or they had an accent or something, and it ruined their careers. So,
right.
Yeah.
I can't stand him. Right, saying it right. That my wife. I didn't see that movie until I was 30 years of age, thanks to my wife. But. Yeah, very similar, very like this, like, I don't want to do this, man. I don't want to do this. This is a change, and it's like, I mean, sometimes you in my opinion, sometimes you want to have some footing. Like, I can't make work or make decisions when the whole ground is shifting. I need some constant or something that I'm just gonna, again, like art making to me is making decisions or making choices. You need to make some constant choices and then allow other things to be what they are. But I think that anyone, I mean, from cats to humans, we just, change sometimes just need a little time to deal with it. And I understand it at the same time, though. If we all do it together, then there's a bit of a safety blanket, I guess. And like, if we're all changing together, all trying new things, and we're not making it the end of the world, and we're not relying billion-dollar companies on the flip of a new idea, then it's okay to try new stuff, and why aren't we, kind of thing. So,
that was another thing with us, John. I mean, to be honest, I mean, our film is really small. When we started shooting it, we didn't even have a proper microphone. We didn't even have to record proper sound. There was no money. It was just literally a camera, an idea, and just sort of going out and filming. So that's kind of where we started from. So it's just like when you have this small little film, you just want to have put it in a position so people can access it.
Right.
And then on the other extreme, like with the studio system, they have the capital, they have the power to really roll out their films where they can just sort of bombard us with their message, and they're willing to take those massive losses in theatrical, knowing that at some time on all the other platforms that the movie will come back around and they'll make their money, and so we can't afford to do that on our level.
Right.
But the thing that we do have is we have speed, with the internet. We have an ability, to just get it out to people right away and share it. And if you look at what the studios are doing over time, they're trying to collapse that window more and more. They're trying to have it so that when they spend those big marketing dollars, that people are going to be able to access their film right away. And there's that fight going on right now between the studios and the theaters. The theaters don't want that window to close in terms of how soon it can go on to those other markets. So that's what the studios are trying to do, and they do this better than anyone else. And then here we are as independent filmmakers thinking we can compete in that world when we don't have any money, we don't have the resources. And so, but if we're smart about it, and if we just do what they're trying to do, but they're restricted to do because the theaters won't let them. And so that was also part of our thinking in terms of let's just go right to it, and just use the speed, use the quickness that we do have access to.
Right on. I was having lunch with a friend of mine the other day, and it's funny. I look back on it now. I wasn't thinking about it until we changed the structure of the film coming up. But I was sitting with him, and he's like, "I'm making this feature, and I'm doing it here, and I'm doing there." I'm like, dude, no, you know, just take it and just do it all at once. And he just looked at me, he's like, we're not Hollywood, John, so I can do whatever the fuck I want. And I'm like, he's right. I can do whatever the fuck I want to. And then, like, I heard that in the back of my head on Friday when I made that decision. I was like, I don't know why I'm pushing this so hard to be like everyone who's got $5 million for a feature. That's not how I work. I've never worked well that way. I've made a film that's 1,000 times better because I've had the time to craft it in sections. I don't know why all of a sudden I had and being honest with yourself, I guess, is like being like, we're not Hollywood. Like, and that was great. Like, we're not. And we can't compete with these people. Like, there's no way I can compete with the Expendables 2 this weekend. No way. No one, I mean, Sylvester Stallone, I mean, just amazing filmmaking, I know, but I mean, it's just like like you look at it and they're like, oh yeah, this movie was made for $5 million and it's got a $25 million marketing budget behind it, just crammed down your throat. And so I like that's what I'm saying. I guess the long way around is like I like that approach that you guys are doing. It's like I'm rolling with it. Like I'm not The Dark Knight Rises. No, you know, there's not half the country is not waiting for my film, but there is an audience, and how do I get to it? I get to it the best way I can, bob and weave. So, using a lot of boxing metaphors this evening, apparently.
That's exactly it. I think a lot of what hurts, you know, to some degree, I think there's this sort of curse when it comes to film festivals because so many filmmakers think that their film is the one that's going to get into Sundance. You know, like we all have this thing of just like, no, this film is getting into Sundance, and I think we all kind of set ourselves up. So we kind of had to fight that off and just release it and be like, you know what, you know, maybe our film isn't good enough for the film festival circuit. You know, who knows? You know, it's hard to say, but you know, but we know there's a little bit of an audience for it, and let's you know, so that's kind of where we're coming from.
In a world too, like where it's kind of just like, you know, asses in seats type of thing. I mean, it's like, you know, sometimes it's like, all right, so there's 100 films or 60 films in Sundance, and then you start to realize, we break it down, well, you know, the people that have been, like, the crew, the Sundance crew, it's anyone that's been in Sundance over the last few years, you know, at least 30 of them are making a film this year, and then you have the next thing, and you have this, and then there's something that this person talked to. And I'd like to think, maybe I'm just doing this to make myself feel better or something, but at the end of the day, I think there's like 2 films that no one's ever heard of that they like watched on a DVD and they're like, yeah, this one. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's just, after all said and done, I don't think there's that many that are just like, they find at the bottom of the submissions pile and they're like, wow, what a gem. I mean, I think that they've made it their business to calculate very in precision, because they're a corporation, what their brand is. And I think as filmmakers, like I've just talked to someone the other day, is like I'm putting it in, and I'm putting it in. I'm putting Black Creek to it. It's like a lottery ticket. You got to be in it to win it, I guess. I mean, you have to be like, it is a place where people go, and then all of a sudden they're looking at something they never looked at before, and that's what it should be. But I don't think that we should be beating ourselves up to the point when we don't get into it that we're like, I've had a filmmaker friend that's just like, I'm fucking worthless. And it's like, no, you're not, man. You're not worthless. It's just this one festival. Then, you know, that year the curator didn't go for it that year, or that was not the plan for that. And it's like, instead of just like, I mean, and that's also like, you know, like I said, talking to you guys, it seemed like you guys are that same cut where. So I didn't make a Sundance film this year. Doesn't matter. I'm still going to get it out there, and I'm still going to make another one. I'm still going to be a filmmaker, like, and so maybe somehow that separates some of the people that aren't filmmakers in certain ways, in the sense that just did it to get into a festival, and then they kind of didn't get into a festival or something, and they disappear. Or then the people are like, well, I didn't get in this year, but you know what? I believe this film. I'm behind this film. Let's get it out there, and let's keep learning. Let's keep moving. Let's keep making movies. Like. That's, to me, is what it is about, and it's not about, the festival should just be like that, just like that little cherry on top that, like, oh, we all get to hang out together and watch it at this thing, that's awesome, like, but at the same time, we should all be excited to just keep making films. And then that's me, maybe not all of us, but that's what I think. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, if the popular kids don't like you in high school, it doesn't mean you won't have friends. It just means you won't be hanging out with the varsity team.
You just won't hang out with those assholes.
That are into the cure No fun stuff, not the socias and the jocks. So it doesn't mean that you still can't get it out.
Yeah, I've seen some of these people, those people at because my parents live in the same town. I've been to a bar with those people. No, that's terrible to say. I mean, yeah, it ain't the end of the world, is what you're saying, and I agree with you. It just ain't the end of the world. What I think the reason we all like hold it as something that we just want to do so bad, is because it's infectious. Because when you go, like I went to South by, I went for Filmmaker Magazine for Micro Budget Conversation. I went to cover the festival in a smaller capacity, but just went to experience it. It was awesome. I mean, all I did all day was drink beer and talk about movies and see. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, that's the best thing. I mean, for anyone who likes movies, it's awesome. And so I think we just all want to be hanging out together, making films. We just have to learn that sometimes we can do that through our films, and sometimes we don't, and sometimes we're there to learn, and sometimes we're there to show. And also, I think sometimes we also have to learn that there are a lot of people in this world, whether they're selling insurance or they're making films, they want to be the cool kids at the table. And that's fine, and that's totally fine. But all I need to get to is making another movie. And I think that the coolest folks are the folks also at that table. We're all at the table. We're all at the kids' table making movies in there. There's some on the table talking about how cool they are. Anyways, that's a tangent and a half. But
and I think what's going to be interesting with what we're doing is since we did bypass film festivals and since they do have all the requirements, it'll be interesting to see after this run if we're able to create enough excitement, enough buzz. Will they come knocking? Are those still opportunities we're going to want to pursue? We really don't know what's sort of on the horizon with all this. So that should be another sort of interesting component, I guess. Maybe.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's like another thing that could come from it, and you could spend another portion of, like another part two in a whole other realm, and that might be awesome. I mean, that's you get to have this interaction with folks online, and then you get to go right there in the theater with them, and then, I mean, I think it's all gravy, man, at this point. Like, I think anything you do beyond making some money at it and having a conversation is just awesome. And no matter how, this is awesome. Like, no matter how many times you can just talk with other people, that's, in my opinion, that's a lot of fun. So I think you guys just made a conversation starter. That's what you did. And you'll just kind of keep the conversation going, and then get to go to other places where other people want to talk about it. So
yeah.
You got to make the next film.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's like, look at how, if this works, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I said the same thing. It's like, okay, now we can just do something else.
Yeah, man.
Another 3 years behind our computers.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Sweating at the computer all day.
It's crazy the amount of time that just how infrequent you actually get, that time, when you're actually making the film, you really have to cherish it because it seems to happen so infrequently, so you spend so much of your time doing all this stuff that sending emails and promoting and marketing and all this other stuff. So it's just like that time where you actually get to create and craft is really awesome, and certainly we miss that part of the process.
Yeah.
When you're just like tweaking scenes and doing that bit of post-production, I don't know, there's just something about being on set, being live, and sort of creating in the moment, which is really awesome, and that's a time to cherish.
Yeah, that's
definitely. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Oh no, yeah, just being behind the computer. I mean, so much of my day is just sending emails out. Like, it's just. And I remember we interviewed this one filmmaker, Alana Krauss. She did this movie called Stripped Down, and this was when we were new doing Film Courage, and she said so much of it looks glamorous, what she was doing, but she said so much of it is not glamorous at all. And I get that now. I really do. But it's that. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry, John.
No, you're right. I mean, a lot of it is just sitting in my living room, haven't showered yet, writing email after email, sometimes it's a slog, but I mean, it's a fun slog. I like everyone's like, oh, like pre-production. I love it. I love like being like, okay, now how am I gonna get A to B to C, and how am I gonna get everyone there? Where are they gonna sleep and all that stuff? Probably should just be a producer. I probably should quit this directing shit. Try to just produce films, but
Problem solving. Sorry, you like problem solving?
I do, yeah, I do. I mean, I get mad when someone asks me to solve a problem that's too easy. It just drives me nuts. Or like if it's a problem I've already solved or told someone, and then they've solved it, and then they don't understand. Not a very good teacher. I'll be quite frank and honest. I'm just like, I told you how to do this yesterday. Google it. Don't ask me again. But neither here nor there. No, it's interesting because you have Never Leave You Wingman. You have that's for Tony Scott, right? Is that why you're wearing your shirt?
Oh, this right here.
Yeah, it's for.
I'm sorry. This is from.
This is actually.
It's from San Diego Indie Fest.
Oh. I thought it was for like Tony Scott for him jumping off the bridge in your town. It's unfortunate.
We'll give it up.
Yeah.
We'll give it up for the
there you go. Yeah, give him some props.
Top Gun, man. It's really a tragic story. It's one that just hit us hard when we heard the news.
I mean, he got to do it. That's what you were talking. I guess that's why I saw that and you were talking about. I mean, he got to do it. Like, and that's the best thing. I mean, like, you know those brothers. I mean, they love doing that, and that's what they're meant to do. I guess that's why. That was a weird, long way around to try to, your shirt, but try to tie that all in somehow. But no, I mean, I think that you could tell that he loved making movies, and you could tell that it's part of their DNA. And I think it's incredibly, it's the best thing in the world, man, to be on set, to be doing it, to be there. And I think that we just have to realize that, like, it's like it's like. Mr. Metaphor. It's like having sex and then accidentally having a baby. Maybe a little bit. Like, it was good for that time you were doing it, but then there's all this other shit you gotta deal with. No, it's a terrible metaphor. It's a terrible. My wife just snickered in the other room.
You gotta name the thing. You gotta get it food. I know.
Oh, that thing. No, I mean, like, yeah, it's just. I agree with you. It's like for 3 weeks you're just like in heaven, and then it's like 2 years of just like, oh, I gotta do that. All right, I still love it. I'm still gonna do this.
Well, I don't know if you have any more thoughts or questions for us, John, but we want to thank you for taking time out, chatting with us, talking about your crowdfunding. So your thing is live. Can you tell us the name? Tell us how we can find it.
Sure. It's obviously on Kickstarter. I'm trying to think of the. I know it's White Creek Feature Film, but I think it's Kickstarter.com/projects/John W. Yost/White-Creek.feature.film. I think that's what it is. I know, right? Like, that's kind of sick that I know that. Like, just
the whole URL.
I've been pasting it a lot.
Mind. I like that.
It's kind of crazy. But yeah, it's that. That's what it is right there. So.
We're going to try to link that up right on the screen so people can go and check that out.
Oh, cool.
Put the video underneath, the pitch video.
Cool. And I got to get on, as you send some stuff up in the next few weeks too, because I'm watching the film and stuff. I've got to get you guys out there as much as whatever I can. That's the funny thing is that I forget who it was, something that is like, a friend of mine came in the new album, and I like totally was like, this album's amazing, and I put it on my I forget who it was, but it's just like, what are you doing? You have a campaign run. I'm like, yeah, but I'm a human being. I'm like, it's ridiculous. I like this album. I'm not gonna. I mean, like, and people get sick of hearing like my campaign. So it's like, come on, man. I'm like, this is awesome. Yeah. So like, back and forth, and then I guess I'm going to talk with Lucas, and I'm going to work with him to try to make some sort of telethon thing happen, I guess. Which would be kind of cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, we love it.
He's working on it. I don't know exactly what he's going to do with it. I don't know what his thoughts are on the whole thing, but I know he's trying his best. So.
Awesome.
And this would be for what, the last 48 hours, like the next 2 days, or?
I think so. Yeah, like a Thursday, Friday, full-on thing. I don't know. I got to talk to him more, and I don't want to, because I know this is out there. I don't want to promise or say something I don't know about, but I know it was on his mind. So.
Awesome.
Cool. All right.
We'll definitely be participating.
Yeah.
We're we're committed to seeing Jack achieve this goal. And so we have a busy day tomorrow on Wednesday, but then we're going to be full steam ahead Thursday, Friday, and we're gonna see him through the finish line. So we're looking forward to that moment. So it's actually been sort of a relief on us to kind of take our heads off our own campaign and just put that energy into someone else. And I don't know. There's just something spiritual. There's something karmic about it, and there's a little bit of a weight off our shoulders right now. And then we'll sort of get back to the grind for the last 2 weeks and see if we can make some, turn some heads and create some more excitement.
Sure. I mean, that's the best thing about it, man. I mean, this and that, and you guys helping them out. That's like I said, man. That's the reason why we're rock stars, man. That's the reason why we do this, man. We're having fun, Like that's the best thing about it. That's that stuff. So not money, there's the ethos, the stuff we're helping each other with. So that's awesome, man.
All right.
Yeah, it'd be fun. Thank you so much for talking. And it was funny because we got to meet at Marty's thing, but we were like, you guys had a scoot and I had a scoot and I was from out of town, and we were like, but it was finally we got to sit down and just chill and talk. It's nice.
Yeah.
That was fun. That was really fun going out to Quinnipiac. It was a good time.
Cool.
For those we haven't fully mentioned, just real quick, we did a crowdfunding discussion at Quinnipiac University.
Go Marty Lang.
Yeah, it was set up by our good buddy Marty Lang. So yeah, that was awesome. We're like, who's this guy that's like he really knows crowd? Like,
I know, wow, what college student?
Yeah, what college student?
It's like a gifted program or something.
Oh, he's friends with Marty. Oh no.
No, I was like, wow, this guy could teach this panel. Why is he attending it?
Yeah,
and then how did you tell me who? John, I forget. I guess you shook hands or something.
Yeah, no, we talked after.
I just thought you were a college student.
Yeah, that was John from.
Yeah. Like, oh, you're John. Are you in college here? I was like, no. But maybe I should have gone to Quinnipiac. How do you say it? Quinnipiac.
Quinnipiac. It's a beautiful.
It's a dope school, man. On top of the hill, but.
Absolutely.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's it.
No,
John, we're gonna wrap it up here.
You.
We're gonna enjoy the conversation with Lucas.
Yes.
Tell him we say hello. Tell him we're gonna keep pushing Jack and see this thing through.
Okay. Yeah. Me as well. So let's do it, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much.
See you online soon.
All right. Thanks, John.
Cheers. Bye, guys.
Bye.